Animaniacs 2020, Season 1, Episode 2.
Two, I thought it was three.
No, we're only on 2.
I thought we did two yesterday, one and two last time.
No, we just did 1.
Yeah.
I watched the wrong one.
This is the one with the Odyssey, the Dragon, and the Suffragettes.
Okay.
I
I rewatched the wrong one today, but I've
you have seen it.
So.
Yeah. One troubling thing that... Okay, so this was not an amazing episode. Like, Pinky and the Brain was okay. That was pretty standard Pinky and the Brain fare. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. It was just sort of what you expect.
I mean, that dragon was a great actor.
Yes, it was about average. It wasn't knock your socks off, but it was not bad either. It was just sort of, that's about it. That was about an average Pinky and the Brain episode. Good, but not one of the better ones they've done. The other two, on the other hand, the Odyssey was fun. That was kind of an interesting thing. I think they're leaning a little hard on the politics. Like, I get it. Animaniacs they brought in politics every once in a while. Like, they didn't we're not gonna have politics at all. But like, it was a little more spaced out than this. Again, this is sample size of 2, but like, it's like you're leaning a little hard on that and looking a little pathetic. It makes you look a little lazy. But other than that, Odyssey was fun. Again, fairly average other than that. The thing that drove me crazy was I couldn't think of... Like, I immediately recognized the Odysseus voice. I was like, I know that voice. I've heard that voice. And I think was it Diedrich Bader? Which, if you ever watched the Drew Carey show, he was Oswald in the Drew Carey show. He also has done... he was the voice of Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold. He's got a very distinctive voice. So
Never seen either of those.
Yeah. But he's got a very distinctive voice, and you're like, this is stupid familiar. I just can't place it.
That happens so much, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
my nephew was watching something the other day. I don't remember what it was, but I'm like, that's Rob Paulson's voice.
Oh.
Like, it was just a bit role, like a background character for like one line. And I'm like, that's Rob Paulson.
Yeah. Yeah, some people have very distinct voices.
Yeah. Or when that one pony in My Little Ponies, I'm like, it's Maurice LaMarche.
Yeah, Chancellor Naysay.
Yes. It's like, that is the freaking brain right there, man.
Yes. But
they put the brain.
The first one's okay. I'm always up for an Odyssey reference, which is basically, other than what I already talked about, it was fun.
Yeah.
Though,
I mean, as much as I find it amusing making fun of Trump because, he is a bit of an idiot, it's just overplayed at this point, Like, everybody's done it. It's been done to death. Move on.
Yeah,
it's lazy. You could come up with something clever with this. You could do something else.
In their defense, though, this was like animated like 2 years ago.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So I mean, yeah, but that's one of the problems with going too political is also that you really date yourself, and sometimes things move on so fast that it doesn't work 2 years later.
And the only people allowed to date themselves are River Song and the Master.
But
now there's one thing that this episode made me realize. I have this strange feeling that Dot and Webby would be good friends.
They would be. I
Yeah.
need to remind me to draw a fan art of that at some point.
But one thing I
And this
noticed
is
in the
you have a sword horse?
but yeah, the first one. Other than that, there wasn't really anything bad to it. It was they could have gone with something a little more not timeless, but they could have gone with some other. So some there are other people other than Trump.
Yeah,
But
they could have gone something a little less cliche.
or just some other notable figure they could have used in that position. It just seems really lazy. But one thing that I noticed that it's become, I think I may have noticed it in the first episode, but it became really clear with the singing voice in the last act. Dot's voice Dot's voice has changed a bit.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I mean
aside from Twisted Tunes, she hasn't really done the voice in 2 decades.
oh yeah, I'm
So,
not saying it's been a long.
and I
It's
mean,
like
they don't really they don't really sing much in Twisted Tunes, at least not as Dot. So,
yeah, but it was just that it was so much lower. It was like
yeah,
okay,
maybe
um,
Dot puberty a little early.
while dead somehow, but that wouldn't be the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Um, maybe they went and played checkers. Um, uh, but that last act was really weird. Like, like it starts off like with setting the expectations. You know, the first bit out of her mouth really irked me. It was like, if it's the president's on the line. If it's a man, I don't have time. If it's a woman, there could be no better, or something to that extent. It's like, well, shouldn't you be shooting for, nobody cares what the president
Yeah.
is? Like that would be the end of sexism if nobody cares. If they just care about
Yes,
policy and boring stuff
that's
like
the
that.
difference. That's the difference between feminism and feminazi. Like, if female supremacy feminazi is girls are more powerful. Feminism, actual genuine feminism, is gender equality, like 100%.
Yeah, we don't
It's
care
okay
what's between
for,
your legs. Just tell us
guys,
what your ideas are.
yeah. It's
And
like both are equal at that with that. But
yeah,
that's just man bashing, which
yeah,
has
it's like
become quite a trend in recent years.
yeah, you see it a lot in Hollywood because they've really drank that intersectional feminist Kool-Aid. It's like men are just evil. Men are all ists and isms. It's like, okay, let's see you run off half your audience because they're like, I'm not gonna stand here and just be bashed on and sit here and take it. It's like
Yeah, like,
I'm not any of those things. I'm not going to listen to you because you're a jerk. Um, and what was I gonna
but
say
what
as well?
pisses me off about it is they basically are turning around and doing the exact same thing they're accusing men of doing.
Yeah,
Like, they're like, men just think we're weak and we're just supposed to be pretty and this and that. And then they're like, men suck. And I'm like, yeah, but judging somebody by their gender is exactly what you're accusing them of doing. So where's the
yeah.
difference?
Well, like so you want to be equal to men, yes, and you say also that men are pigs, right? Yeah. Okay, then women are pigs too, according to you. It's
that
like,
that reminds me of a meme I saw. It's like, man, all men are my boyfriend just dumped me. Men are dogs. What breed's your dad?
yeah, exactly. But
Although my response to that would have been, he was a mutt, because he actually, I have like a dozen different
yeah,
nationalities.
yeah, I'm basically a European sort of stirring myself to a certain extent. I think mine's a
Yeah.
little less varied as yours, but it's a stir pot anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but
Although I am part Romanian, so I could be related to Vlad the Impaler. There's always that flip chance.
fair enough.
Then we might be related.
Oh no. But
And it would explain why he's so weird and
Eh.
ugly.
anyway, moving on. The other thing, like, and the weird thing about it was also, okay, they've done historical things before. They've done the president's song, and they've done geography like the state capitals and all the countries of the world, and that can be cool, and they do it well. But this was weird in that it was like it was talking about suffragettes, that was fine. 100-year anniversary, and you want to talk about what Susan B. Anthony and all these women were doing. Great, that's an excellent opportunity to have some fun with Animaniacs and history and do all that. But they did it for like, here's 3 or 4 women who were suffragettes. We're gonna give them laser eyes and a weapon umbrella, and then we're gonna completely forget about them for the rest of the song. It's like,
and you're going to ignore everything they actually did and just say, hey, they made it so you can vote. It's like, okay, why don't you, instead of like just man bashing, why don't you delve into that a little more?
Yeah, I'm sure you could find a good story in there that you could make into a funny thing, like you've done with, painting the Sistine Chapel. That was funny. That was a really funny bit in the old Animaniacs, and it was him painting. That was really funny. You can take historical events and make them funny, but also teach something at the same time. And you just listed some names and then went on the rest of the episode singing about giving non-real people the vote.
Hey, cartoons deserve the right to vote.
Then I'll just make all the cartoons I want, get all the votes I want. I can manufacture votes.
Because technically each vote would be given to the person who either draws them or or voices them or writes the script. Yeah. Therefore, those votes, that vote would end up going to, say, someone like Frank Welker or Rob Paulson or any of those voice actors who are so multitudinal. They'd have hundreds of votes right there.
Although, could you imagine if like somebody opened up like a dimensional rift and made cartoons actually real?
We saw what happens with that in Let's Get Dangerous. It's not a good idea.
Also, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Do it.
Essentially, I mean, they were already said to be kind of there, but that's kind of what decided. It's kind of, this is what would happen after it settled down for a while. But yeah, it's like, the voter fraud would be even worse.
The sad thing is, a movie like Who Framed Roger Rabbit wouldn't be able to get made very easily in this time.
Oh yeah, mostly because
they would have a field day. You can't have a woman that pretty.
No. You know why they wouldn't be able to? Because
Disney.
Disney and the whole just corporation jurisdiction with that. Because in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they had Disney, they had Warner Brothers, they had all the other different cartoons all mixed together. And nowadays they'd be like, no, this is my film. No, this is my film.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of turf wars on that. Though to be fair, we did get sharing between Sony and Disney on Spider-Man, so that is a good thing out of it. But I don't know that you'd be able to get. It's an exception, not the rule. That's the point. Yeah.
That was due to so much backlash. Disney got because everybody loves
Holland. Yeah.
What's his name as Spider-Man.
Oh, he's a good Spider-Man. Yeah.
He is. He's actually the only Spider-Man I actually like, because I just generally don't like Spider-Man, but I like him in the MCU.
But yeah,
I don't
I
know if
mean,
I'll watch the Sony movies, but you know.
yeah, he's a
But
that's clearly the exception, not the rule.
exactly.
And
I mean, they did have Batman versus the Ninja Turtles, but again, that is one of those rare
That was
exceptions.
weird.
well, I don't know if even
That's
Ninja Turtles may
and
be a Warner
Nickelodeon.
thing. I don't know.
No. Ninja Turtles is Nickelodeon.
Okay, and Nickelodeon is Viacom, which is CBS, right?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I think it is. I think if it's Nickelodeon, I think is a Viacom thing because they do stuff with MTV, and MTV is Viacom. I think.
I didn't
Just-
realize MTV was still a thing.
I just know that it exists.
Just give it a few months and it'll be owned by Disney.
Well, if they don't collapse from but yeah, if they don't collapse from their from all their purchases and all the theaters being closed and all that stuff.
Yeah, but don't forget they do still have all of the their side projects and their non-theatrical releases and Disney Plus and
Yeah, that's true.
all of
Yeah,
their
they were still having problems
of
though,
their-
from what I understood.
Yeah.
But
I just don't think they'll be going bankrupt anytime soon.
yeah, well, they may have to restructure though. Yeah, owner Viacom CBS. So yeah, it's a CBS thing. So it's yeah, that was Warner Brothers and CBS getting together on that one.
Yeah.
They do get together because CBS used to be the one who did Supergirl, and then Supergirl transferred to the WWE.
I couldn't hear you there for a sec. That last little bit.
Supergirl used to be on CBS, but then they transferred it in I think the second or third season to CW, which is I think owned by WB.
It's I think it's I remember when it came on, and it was supposed to be basically a joint venture between CBS and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I think.
So I mean, but my thing is they work together pretty well. So
yeah, well, they're
Yeah.
not as they're not as big of a factor in the game. Like CBS is you have Disney and you have Warner Brothers, and so those two are the big kahunas. And so
Disney and Warner Brothers are basically Mac and PC, and then you have the little Linuxes and stuff out there.
yeah, which is CBS is not a tiny company, but they're compared to the juggernaut that is, you know, I don't want to sell them short either because they do have Viacom, and Viacom's a lot of cable channels, are all Viacom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a lot of them. So, but yeah, they just have less problem with working with Viacom because they're not they're not Disney. But yeah, oh, and that reminds
like those games where it's like Disney. What? Oh, sorry. I'm so used to blaming you for everything.
but what was I saying? Oh yeah, and there was one thing I did like that we got a lot of references to cartoons, and it's basically all the ones you expect for Warner Brothers to pull out. But then they pulled out the edgy Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever these things are. Oh yeah, I remember those. Like that's something for people who that there's no way any kid got that reference.
Yeah,
That was for people about my age or older. Like
that was terrifying.
yeah. So yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, that one. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that was a thing that occurred. That was that 2000s. We need to be edgy. It's like, no, you don't. You're Looney
Edgy to
Tunes.
the max.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of that aftermath of the 90s. Dude, radical.
Oh
The only problem
God.
was like the 90s were all super colorful, and then 2000s hit and everything went gray. Everything's gonna be
You see,
gray.
I wasn't really into cartoons in the 2000s, so I really don't know.
Well, it was less. I don't know that it was cartoons, but just like every media in general went from like clothing went from 90s just everything is all the colors.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then 2000s everything's black.
80s and 90s.
Everything's black and gray and leather.
Yeah, but I was.
But like I'm talking about fashion and
The master from the Doctor Who movie is a very good point in that.
But I wonder if we'll ever get the 90s colorfulness again. That would be fun.
Hey, who said no? I mean, I still wear colorful things.
Oh, I'm not saying that
sometimes
you can't do it. I'm just saying I'd like that to be the fashion again.
As long as we don't bring back the shoulder pads.
No, we bring back the shoulder pads, but they go on the outside and they're made of steel.
Ooh,
only if we have the shredder wrist guards too.
Hey, if you give me the shoulder pads, I give you that. Agreed?
All right.
Agreed. I think we've just made cultural progress here. We're going from multicolored with
you gotta have the cape.
Oh, and capes are going to be in. Capes are obviously going to be in.
Yeah, no.
Well,
colorful capes, shoulder pads that are metal on the outside, and wrist guards.
Yeah, we got to have the helmet too, because I mean, we're already wearing the masks. You might as well wear the helmet. Let's all dress like Shredder. There we go.
So your proposal is just that we all dress up like colorful, like the Shredder at a Pride festival.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a minute. Just imagine Shredder at the Pride festival.
Oh dear God.
It wasn't him. It never was. It was his assistant.
Put in the chat a reminder to draw that at some point.
Oh God.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. Shredder at a Pride festival.
Rainbow sake.
Roku sake.
No, a rainbow sake.
Oh, rainbow sake. Okay, I didn't hear that. Oh, that's gonna be one of those images that I can't get out of my head for about 3 days.
I can picture it too, like cartoon Shredder from the 80s, and you know when he has his fist balled and going, "I'm getting it, get those turtles," and in his bald fist he's holding pride flags.
Oh, it's too much, and he's just the cape is rainbow.
Yes. and the helmet has a little bit of shine to it.
Oh no, the helmet, disco ball. The little mirrors.
Yes.
It's sequined or sequined. In fact, that's his outfit now. The whole bodysuit thing is now just sequins. And we're going a little stereotypical here, but you see a lot of sequins there. But it is it's a really fun concept.
Instead of the purple, like, what is that? The tunic, like, middle part?
Yeah.
It's like cheetah print.
Well, that was what I was thinking. You know, since it looks kind of armory, and it has like the little ringlets and whatnot. Like just turn that into sequins.
I'm talking about the cloth underneath the purple part that breaks down the middle.
All right, well, I'd have to look at his outfit again to know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the thing, after getting somehow from Animaniacs to Shredder at a Pride Festival, I don't know how that happened, but
Are you really complaining?
I'm not complaining because that's funny as hell. But yeah, overall, coming back to the episode, since we're running low on time, overall, it had some weak spots and it had some really confusing messaging. Like, nobody really wants cartoons to have the vote, but you're putting that right next to women having the right to vote and that little sexist bit at the beginning of that thing. So the thing was a complete mess. and then the brain was Pinky and the Brain was good. It was pretty average, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't.
It was a little bit predictable.
It was what you expect. It's what you expect when you see Pinky and the Brain, and that's not bad. That's exactly what you want out of Pinky and the Brain, and that's exactly what you got. So you got what you expected. The Odyssey bit was good outside of, some lazy writing on the whole Trump thing, but other than that, it was fairly entertaining. But it was okay. It was, I don't want to go fairly. It was okay. It wasn't, other than that. I do like an Odyssey reference, so
yeah,
I'll add that. I'll give you a +1 for that. But yeah, it was kind of a mess of an episode with Pinky and the Brain kind of steadying the boat in the middle. But yeah, so that's the review. And don't forget Shredder at the Pride Festival.
Yes, subscribe.
All right. Well, then we'll. What?
Did you just say he's a trap?
No, I said hooray for Shredder or something.
Yeah, I don't think he said that, but all right. Anyway.
Rainbow Shredder.
Anyways, we're gonna stop the recording right there.